Hello everyone, welcome to Texture Myth. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important topic related to Angular GET request with query parameter. So we will discuss how to use GET API with the query parameters. Prior to that, whatever session we have covered, we were just learning about other concept, right? But I received some email where students have requested me to share the session related to query parameter. So today we are going to deliver that. So we will see what is query parameter, why do we really need that query parameter with GET APIs, and how basically we are going to implement it. So these all sessions we are going to cover. These all things we are going to cover in this session. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for timing we are just mainly focusing on how to use GET requests with query parameters. But prior to that, you should know about what is GET request and other basic thing that we have already covered. So for that, you can also refer the Texture Myth digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find thousands of sessions available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language barrier, you can easily consume the content. And in case if you want to ask any questions related to that, you are more than welcome to comment me on the YouTube channel, where I will personally help you to fix the issues. Okay. Alright, so let's get started. So firstly, I'll explain you the condition and then I'll walk you through the code and will tell you each and every line how you can write the logic to implement this thing. So for that, firstly we will see the output. In output you can see we have mentioned two headings: Angular course by Texture Myth, GET request with query parameters. After that we have one horizontal row, one user list, and we have username, user email, and another horizontal row. Okay, now by looking at this data, it is quite clear that we are just fetching some user detail like username and email, and we are populating it. But this time we are doing it with the help of query parameter. Okay, so what exactly this term query parameter is? So if you look at this API, this is the data that I am fetching from my application, from my API. So here whatever is written after this question mark, that is ID 5, is called as query parameter. So this is the query parameter. Okay, now why it is useful? Let's say we are not passing this thing. So what API will think, like we are expecting the all data, right? So it has total 10 records with IDs, right? So it has 10 IDs and 10 data. So every time when you call this API, it will fetch all 10 records. But we are not interested in all 10 records. I am just particularly interested in fifth record or third record. It depends on the requirement, right? So let's say I want to go with the fifth record. So what I will do, I will just simply put my query parameter here, that is ID 5. Okay. So sometime in interview they might ask you what is query parameter. So you can simply say that whatever information is present after the question mark is the query parameter. Okay, ID 5. So we are looking into ID 5 and it is returning with a name as well as email. Correct? This is done. So this is what we have. Now how we can implement this thing, how we can write the logic for this. So for that I'll just show you, and those like who have watched that session where we have covered the way to handle the empty response from the API, in that situation also we use the query parameter, but that time we were focusing on the error handling kind of thing. So that's why maybe some student missed that part, but no worries, I will discuss it here. So what I'll do now, I'll just quickly show you the program and the files that we need to change and update. So firstly, like we need to add this mandatory thing, that is provide HttpClient. So always make sure this is added here, because if it is not added, then you won't be able to use your API in the application. So this is very important thing. You need to register this provide HttpClient in your application. Once it is registered, then you are good to use your APIs in the application. Clear? Till here we are good. Now next what we are going to do, we are going to create one component. In my case it is already created, but you can create with this command ng for Angular, g generate, c component, and comp1 is my component name. So when I press enter on this command, it will automatically create this component for me with 4 files: CSS, HTML, spec.ts and component.ts file. Okay, now we know that whatever logic we are going to write regarding the API, we will keep it here. Okay, don't get confused like why we are not using services and other thing that we learned, because that concept we already know, right? So I want to make it as simple as it is possible so that you can learn one concept at a time. Okay, so here in this comp1 we have created the component. Now it's time to connect this component with app component, the application main component. Okay, so for that what you can do, you can simply go here in app.component.ts file. Here you will import your comp1 component. So this is my comp1 component. I imported it and put it here. Okay, now after this what we will do, we will go to app.component.html file to design the HTML part. So here I have added Angular course by TextureMyth, get request with query parameter, one horizontal row is there, and app comp1 is the selector. So where we get this? In comp1 you will find the selector value. Okay, don't look at the below code, I'll explain you that later, but just look at this selector. You will find the selector value, and this is the same thing you need to mention here. So by doing this, like whatever you will implement in comp1 will be populated here. Okay, comp1. Alright, so what we did so far, like we configured our file, that is app.config.ts file, and then we are using this comp1 component where we will write the entire logic for API. So I'll quickly show you the API logic. So when you create the component from scratch, you will get this class empty, but in this case I have noted down some logic, so I'll explain you how we have noted it. So firstly we are implementing onInit on this class. That means we are going to use ng-onInit method here. And what is ng-onInit method? It's an Angular method that that will be automatically called whenever the application is loaded. Okay, so don't get confused, like, because this is the session that you should try once before you use it, because there are so many other hooks that we should know about Angular, and that is very important question from the interview perspective. There might be lots of question on this API, not API, on hooks. Okay, but for now just keep in mind that ng-onInit is a method that is called automatically whenever the application is loaded. Okay, so we will write the entire logic inside this. So what we are doing here, firstly we are using this users array just to define it so that we can store the data whenever we received it from the application. Then we have one constructor where we are using HttpClient HTTP. That means we can access the HTTP client with HTTP, and when you write this line it will automatically import this HTTP client. So make sure that it is imported, like common module, HTTP client and onInit. Now after the constructor inside the application method ng-onInit, we are using this logic, this.http.get any, this is my URL, and after this question mark I can put my query parameter, then .subscribe res, this user6 res. So whatever response we will get from the URL will be stored into this .users. Clear? And then we will print it. So basically what we learned in this session, we learned this thing, like how we can pass the query parameter. And in HTML I will just simply check for the user length. If it is greater than 0, that means it holds some data, so I can simply iterate one for loop to print my data, like username, user email. Okay, and here like you can see we are using else, so if user is not found, so it will show this message instead of failing. So those like who watched this session where we talked about how to handle empty response, so there also we will use the similar logic, but at that time we were just focusing on the error handling, but now we are focusing on query parameters. So if someone asks you what is query parameter, so whatever is present after question mark is a query parameter. It is just a additional information that we passed to API so that we can get some extra information or specific information. Okay, so let me run this application to show you the output. ng-serve -open, wait for a few seconds and then it will show you the output in the description box. not in the description box, output in the browser. Okay, so we have got two headings: Angular course by texture math, get request with query parameter, then horizontal row, user list, username and user email. Okay, now the good thing is you can also change this query parameter value. Let's say if instead of this I want 1, so it will provide me yes. Okay, in case if you want to pass something which is not present, it will simply show no user found. Okay, so this is the query parameter. Now some of you might be thinking like, can we pass more than one query parameter? That answer you will get in next session. There we will discuss it in detail, like how to pass multiple query params in an application. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching TechSharepet.